Joining us now from Capitol Hill is Texas Democratic Congressman Mark Veazey, who represents parts of Dallas and Tarrant counties in Washington, D.C., and Texas State Representative Chris Turner, chairman of the Texas House Democratic Caucus, who is one of the lawmakers who left the state last night. A big welcome to the both of you. And Representative Turner, I'll start with you. You're meeting with the Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, next hour. You're also going to meet with Senator Joe Manchin. What's your message? And you're hopeful? Do you plan to meet with President Biden at some point?
Well, good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Our message here on Capitol Hill to our friends in the U.S. Senate is simply that the time is now. We urgently need the U.S. Senate to pass H.R. 1, the For the People Act, and we need H.R. 4, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, to also be enacted because the Republican assault on voting rights in Texas and across the country is only going to continue unless the U.S. Senate does what it has to do to pass strong federal voting rights legislation. So that's why we're here. We're here to spread that message, and we look forward to those meetings we have today and in the week ahead.
Is there a meeting with President Biden on the books yet?
No, not at this time. But
is there any
very much looking forward to hearing what the president says in Philadelphia today. We're looking forward to hearing his speech.
Got it. What's your reaction, I guess, to the criticism that, one, this is a political stunt, and two, that this group of Texas Democrats, of which you're a part, that you're delaying the inevitable? Back in 2003, as Priscilla mentioned, Democrats protested that GOP redistricting plan, but Republicans eventually passed that redistricting plan. When you go back to Texas at some point, you'll go back to a legislature that is run by Republicans who are intent on passing these restrictive voting laws.
Yeah, look, all that is exactly right, and that is a key part of our message here. We have a finite amount of time to pass strong federal voting rights legislation to stop what's going to happen in Texas if there's not federal laws in place. Because you're right, we can't hold this back forever. We've been very clear about that. This is a finite amount of time we're dealing with. Our House members are committed to staying out and killing this bill this legislative session, but that will end on August the 7th. So we got about 3.5 weeks to get something done for the entire country. That's why we're here.
And Congressman Veazey, your colleague, James Clyburn, he told our team that he supports amending the filibuster to have a carve-out for voting rights legislation, in much the same way there's a carve-out for judges, Supreme Court nominees. Those folks only need 51 votes to get confirmed. Have you seen or heard any signs of support among the folks that need convincing?
I want to echo what Majority Whip Clyburn spoke about when he said that we need a carve-out. We absolutely do. I mean, one of the points that I made this morning when we were speaking in the Triangle was that, Mitch McConnell went against his own rules, and he created a carve-out for Amy Coney Barrett to be appointed to the Supreme Court so he could continue to push a radical right agenda onto America. We need to do this, and we don't need to do this for Democrats. We don't need to do this for any sort of partisan gain. We need to do this for the Black and Hispanic voters in states like Texas, in states like Arizona, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, that are about to be discriminated against in a way that we've never seen before, not since the 1960s, if we do not get some sort of protection put into place. And we obviously need to pass H.R. 1 and of course, H.R. 4, John Lewis Voting Rights Act, because for southern states and states that were previously under Section 5, it reinstates that, and it gives us protection that we need against these racist voting rights bills, but also the reapportionment that is going to happen here soon. That is probably going to be some of the worst since the Voting Rights Act was passed if we do not put something in place in those key states that I talked about.
Yeah. Well, absent a congressional legislation, the White House strategy seems to be trying to win the messaging war. The president's speech later this hour, one imagines, is part of that. They're going to play up what they see as Republican overreach and then try to win on this issue in the 2022 midterms and in the 2024 presidential race. Is that a viable strategy?
First of all, I'm glad that President Biden is speaking on voting rights. He has a long track record on voting rights, and I'm glad that he's addressing the nation on this. And look, we have to keep our eyes on the prize on this. This is obviously going to be something that is going to continue to play out over the coming weeks and days. Time is of the essence. We need to help these legislators that are here in Washington, D.C., that are advocating for voters of color, not just in Texas, but really I think this is symbolic of what's happening around the country. And I think that the White House, I know that they understand that, and everybody understands the importance of getting this done so we can help protect voters.
Representative Turner, are you and your Texas Democratic colleagues, are you prepared to stay in Washington without your families, away from your jobs for 3 weeks? And do you take Governor Abbott's arrest threats seriously?
Bill, we're prepared to stay out and kill this bill this legislative session. That means staying outside the state of Texas, absolutely. And our members are making a tremendous sacrifice in terms of their families, their jobs back home, and a number of other ways. But that is the commitment we have all made to one another and to the people of Texas. Look, Governor Abbott just doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't have the power to arrest us. The House of Representatives this morning did authorize the issuance of warrants, and that is within the power of the House, which is why we are not in the state any longer. But that has nothing to do with the governor. The governor doesn't have that power. So he's just talking big like he usually does, but he's completely off base about that.
All right, Texas State Rep Chris Turner and Democratic Congressman Mark Veazey. Appreciate the both of you.